Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolits. Hoping that you will not skip my ads. It's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
In the heart of the shadowed forest, Ivy Mullins stood, the moonlight casting a ghostly glow on her almost transparent dress. She lifted the corner delicately, revealing her snow-white knees. A seductive aura surrounded her, begging to be noticed, tempting any onlooker to lose control. Her eyes glinted mischievously, a faint smile playing on her lips as she took a step closer to Zane. The cool night air seemed to ripple with her allure, each movement calculated to draw him in. The trees around them stood like silent witnesses, their leaves rustling softly, as if whispering secrets of the night. Ivy's confidence was palpable, her beauty an undeniable weapon she wielded with precision.
Hey there, handsome. Feeling generous tonight?
But Zane Martell's eyes remained cold, unmoved by her allure. He slipped the coveted fruit into his storage ring, sealing it away. His expression was one of detached amusement, as though he found her attempts at seduction mildly entertaining but ultimately futile. The contrast between her overt sensuality and his stoic demeanor created a palpable tension in the air.
Nice try, but this fruit stays with me.
Ivy Mullins' flirtation vanished, replaced by icy resolve. Her playful smirk faded, replaced by a hard glint in her eyes. The shift was almost imperceptible, but it was there, a chilling change that hinted at the danger she posed. The forest around them seemed to grow colder, the shadows deepening as her demeanor turned threatening.
Heartless, aren't you? You can't spare me a single fruit?
I can spare you some slaps. Just choose, face or bottom.
Fury ignited in Ivy Mullins' eyes. Her body tensed, wings of devil energy unfurled from her back, feathers sharp and deadly, ready to strike. Her transformation was swift, a testament to her deadly skills. The once seductive figure now exuded menace, her wings casting eerie shadows on the ground. The forest seemed to hold its breath, the only sound the rustle of her wings as she prepared to attack.
Ungrateful fool. I'll show you.
She darted forward with blinding speed. Zane, his sky-killing sword in hand, met her feathers with a flurry of sword energy, blocking every attack. The clash was intense, each strike resonating through the forest like a drumbeat. They clashed midair, their palms colliding with a thunderous clap. Ivy Mullins was thrown to the ground, a trail of blood at the corner of her mouth. The force of the impact shook the ground, sending a shockwave through the surrounding trees. But her lips curled into a sinister smile, her eyes gleaming with malice despite her injury.
Last chance, pretty boy. Hand over the fruit and play nice, or face the consequences.
Zane's eyes narrowed as he noticed a black fog rising from his palm, spreading through his veins, draining his energy. The realization hit him hard, the poison's effects already taking hold. He could feel his strength waning, his movements becoming sluggish. The forest around him seemed to blur, the once clear night now a hazy battlefield. The stakes had just risen dramatically, and he knew he had to act fast to counter the deadly toxin.
Poison? You use poison on me?
The shock in Zane's voice was unmistakable as the realization of Ivy's treachery sank in. The black fog rising from his palm spread quickly, creeping up his arms, suffusing his veins with a chilling numbness. Ivy Mullins wiped the blood from her mouth with a delicate finger, her movements deliberate and mocking. She revealed a snake-like tattoo on her chest, the serpent's eyes glinting malevolently in the moonlight, echoing the malice in her own gaze.
Want the antidote? Beg me nicely, and I might spare your life.
Her voice dripped with a sinister sweetness, each word a taunt. Zane's eyes locked onto hers, his expression hardening. Despite the venom coursing through his body, his resolve remained unbroken. He stood tall, the green spirit light beginning to envelop him, casting an ethereal glow that contrasted sharply with the dark fog of the poison.
Give me the antidote now, or you'll be fertilizer for this field.
The threat in Zane's voice was cold and unwavering, each word cutting through the tension like a blade. He raised his hands, forming a powerful seal. The green light intensified, pulsating with a fierce energy that made the very air hum. Ivy Mullins' confidence wavered, a flicker of fear crossing her face as she realized the extent of his power. Before she could react, the sound of footsteps echoed through the forest, announcing the arrival of two new figures, Grant Lang and Lucas Young.
He stole the most valuable thunder spiritual fruit.
Her voice pitched with desperation, trying to turn the newcomer's attention to Zane. Grant Lang's eyes blazed with fury as he stepped forward, his gaze locking onto Zane with deadly intent.
Hand it over, Zane, and I might let you die quickly.
The anger in Grant's voice was palpable, a promise of swift and brutal retribution. Lucas Young stood beside him, his posture rigid with authority, his eyes filled with a cold determination.
Give it up, Zane. You can't control its power.
Zane met their threats with a defiant smirk. He knew the odds were against him, but surrender was not an option. His grip tightened around the hilt of his sword, the green spirit light flaring brighter as he prepared for the inevitable clash.
Come take it.
Grant Lang's form began to shift, demonic energy surging through him. His body twisted and expanded, morphing into a monstrous spider demon. 8 grotesque arms sprouted from his back, each ending in a razor-sharp claw. With a guttural roar, he launched himself at Zane, creating a deadly cyclone with his limbs. Zane met the attack head-on, his palm striking out with the force of the human emperor's palm. The collision sent shockwaves through the air, and Grant Lang was hurled backward, crashing into the trees. Lucas Young, undeterred by his comrade's failure, charged forward with his spear. The weapon glowed with an intense light, its tip aimed straight at Zane's heart. Zane's eyes narrowed, his body moving with lightning speed. He struck out with his palm once more, shattering the spear into pieces. The force of the blow sent Lucas sprawling on the ground, stunned and disbelieving.
What power?
A shadow moved behind Zane, silent and swift. Ivy Mullen in her half-snake form slithered up, her scaled arms wrapping around him with crushing force. A sharp pain pierced his neck as her fangs sank in. Reacting instinctively, Zane grabbed her hair and threw her to the ground with a powerful swing, forming a crater in the earth. Ivy lay there, her body battered but her eyes still gleaming with triumph.
You're poisoned. No one can save you now.
Her laughter was a rasping sound, mingled with the coughs that brought up blood. Zane felt his life force draining rapidly, the poison's effects intensifying with each passing moment. His vision blurred, and his strength waned, but his spirit remained unbroken. Grant Lang and Lucas Young, sensing their opportunity, began to close in, their faces twisted with malicious glee.
Ivy, excellent work. Now let's finish this.
The forest seemed to hold its breath as the two adversaries prepared to strike. Zane's energy was fading, but his determination burned brighter than ever. The shadows lengthened, the night closing in as the battle reached its climax. What fate awaited him now? Would Zane overcome the poison and defeat his enemies? Or would the shadows claim him once and for all? In the heart of the battle, Ivy Mullen's form loomed, a venomous, bone-eroding soul snake. This insidious creature's poison wasn't just a physical affliction. It gnawed at one's willpower, a dread that even a semi-Martial King-level expert couldn't withstand. The air around her seemed to rip with malevolent energy, her serpentine eyes gleaming with a deadly promise. Zane Martel, already feeling the weight of its venom, staggered, his head spinning as if bitten by thousands of ants. His vision blurred, the edges of the world swimming as if seen through a feverish haze.
I can't win in this state. I have to escape now.
He stumbled, every step a struggle, while Grant Lang's mocking laughter echoed through the chaos of the battlefield. The sound was cold, devoid of any humanity, and it cut through Zane's foggy mind like a knife.
Go to hell!
A massive, evil claw shot from Grant Lang's hand, dark and ominous, casting a shadow that seemed to devour the light around it. The claw descended with a terrifying speed, aiming to crush Zane.
Zane, it's over for you.
Despite the venom coursing through him, Zane's resolve didn't waver. He could feel the poison attacking not just his body, but his very spirit, sapping his strength, but he refused to give in. His eyes, though heavy with the burden of the venom, burned with a fierce determination.
Even poisoned, you can't stop me. If I can't have this medicinal field, then no one will.
Zane unleashed a swarm of black bugs from his storage ring. The insect cloud buzzed ominously, a dark, writhing mass that split into four as it erupted into the air. One segment swarmed the medicinal field, devouring it with ferocity, the plants and herbs disappearing into the maws of countless tiny predators. The other three turned on his enemies like hungry wolves. their buzzing growing louder, more menacing.
What is this? Get away from me.
Ivy, closest to Zane, fell first to the vicious bugs. These green swarm insects, with teeth sharp as saw-toothed blades, tore at her scales. At first, her scales clinked with sparks, the metallic sound echoing like a desperate plea for help. But soon the insects lifted the armor, biting into her flesh. Ivy's screams pierced the air, filled with a terror that was almost tangible. Zane had cultivated these bugs on various demonic beast corpses, making them formidable even against expert-level experts. Their relentless aggression, honed through countless battles, now turned the tide in his favor. Grant Lang and Lucas Young's faces twisted in horror as the insect cloud proved relentless, the realization dawning on them that these were not ordinary insects. They were death incarnate.
What the hell are these? Why can't we damage them?
Despite their efforts, the green swarm bugs rolled back from the soil, unfazed by the attacks. They moved with an eerie coordination, a single-minded purpose to annihilate anything in their path.
Grant, save me.
But her cries fell on deaf ears. Grant Lang and Lucas Young ignored her, their focus locked on Zane. Ivy's desperation grew as the bugs continued their assault, her strength waning with each passing second. Zane, seeing the distraction he had created, steeled himself for what came next. The battlefield was a cacophony of chaos, the screams of the dying mingling with the relentless buzz of the green swarm. But in the midst of it all, Zane found a moment of clarity. He knew that this was his only chance to escape, and he would seize it with every ounce of strength he had left.
Kill him. If Zane dies, these bugs will vanish.
Zane, flying as fast as he could despite the poison, felt his wings falter, the venom coursing through his veins like liquid fire. He reached the edge of a cliff, the ground beneath his feet crumbling away, revealing a bottomless abyss and a sea of fire raging below. The flames roared, an infernal symphony of destruction, their tongues licking the sky with a terrifying intensity. The heat was overwhelming, the air thick with the stench of burning earth and sulfur.
This is Decka, source of fire.
The Decka, source of fire, a natural will much harder to comprehend but infinitely more powerful than other forces, could easily kill even high-level, expert-level experts. Its presence was a force of nature, primal and unstoppable, a testament to the raw power of the world. The flames danced with a malevolent intelligence, as if they were alive and hungry for destruction.
Hand over the thunder spiritual fruit, Zane, or I'll turn you into fertilizer for this land.
Stop wasting time. The bugs are catching up. Kill him now.
As they charged, Zane's resolve hardened. He could feel the fire's heat against his back, the searing flames threatening to consume him, but he wouldn't let fear control him. The resolve in his eyes burned as brightly as the inferno below.
You want me dead? Try harder.
He unleashed the human emperor's palm, a fusion of wind and thunder, creating an earth-shattering pressure. The force of his attack was like a storm unleashed, the very air crackling with energy. Grant Lang and Lucas Young dodged, the ground shattering where they had stood, but Lucas's spear still grazed Zane, sending him over the cliff. His body plummeted towards the inferno below, the flames roaring up to meet him. As he fell, the Decka, source of fire, surged, threatening to consume him. The flames seemed to reach out, clawing at him with fiery fingers. Zane's breath came in heavy gasps, the poison sapping his strength. The heat was unbearable, his skin blistering under its intensity.
Human Emperor's palm.
He struck out, narrowly fending off the fire. The wind and thunder of his attack clashed with the flames, a desperate attempt to stave off his demise. But with his vital energy almost depleted, survival seemed impossible. The flames were relentless, an unyielding force of nature. Above, Grant Lang and Lucas Young watched, their expressions a mix of satisfaction and disdain.
What a waste of the thunder spiritual fruit.
Grant Lang's voice dripped with disdain as he watched Zane's fall.
However, if he falls down this cliff full of Decka, source of fire, he will definitely die.
Lucas Young nodded in agreement, his expression grim.
Unless one is in the semi-martial king realm or even the martial king realm, it's impossible to survive after being devoured by the Decka, source of fire.
The certainty of Zane's demise loomed large. His fate hung by a thread, the fire below ready to claim him. His vision blurred. The the world around him reduced to a hellish landscape of fire and pain. The flames crackled, a constant reminder of his imminent doom. What would become of Zane? Would he find a way to survive the fiery abyss? Or was this truly his end?